Have you ever wondered why your morning coffee costs a little more on Tuesday than it did on Monday? Or why a concert ticket can be crazy expensive one minute and then suddenly go on sale? Well, the answer to all of that is hiding in one of the biggest ideas in all of economics, demand. And today, we're going to break it all down.
I mean, think about it. Strawberries are a total bargain in the summer, right? And flight prices, they seem to have a mind of their own. These everyday puzzles, and a whole lot more, all come down to understanding this one core concept.
And yeah, you guessed it, that concept is demand. Now, in everyday chat, we throw around words like want or desire. But for an economist, demand is something very, very specific. It's much more than just wanting something.
See, in economics, demand is like a three-part recipe. First, you've got to have the desire for something. That's step one. But then you need the means to buy it. You've got to have the cash. And finally, you need the readiness to spend it. You have to be willing to actually part with your money. You need all three, or it's not demand, it's just daydreaming. Okay, so we know what demand is, but how does it behave out in the wild? Well, it follows this one fundamental rule, a super simple but incredibly powerful principle that shapes pretty much every store you walk into. It's called the law of demand.
And here's the key takeaway. It's an inverse relationship. Think of it like a seesaw. When the price of something goes down, the amount people are willing to buy goes up. And, you guessed it, when the price goes up, the amount people want to buy goes down. It feels like common sense, but it is the absolute bedrock of economics.
We can actually see this in action with something called a demand schedule. Just look at this table for sugar. At 30 rupees a kilo, this family buys 1 kilo a month. But watch what happens as the price drops. Down at 26 rupees, they're buying 5 kilos. That's 5 times as much. That's the law of demand right there in black and white.
And here's where it gets cool. Economists take that table and turn it into a picture. If you plot each of those price and quantity combos on a graph and just connect the dots, boom, you get this simple downward sloping line. And that, my friends, is the demand curve. It's probably one of the most important shapes in all of economics.
So that curve we just saw shows what one person or one family might do. But what happens when we zoom out? I mean, how do we get from your shopping list to the demand of an entire country?
You know what? It's actually way simpler than you might think. To get the market demand curve, you literally just add up everybody's individual demand curves. At any price, you just ask, what will person A buy, and person B, and person C? Add it all together, and you get the market demand. It's a wider curve, sure, but it has that exact same downward slope.
Okay, so price changes how much we buy along that curve. Got it. But, and this is a huge but, price isn't the only thing that affects what we buy. And this leads to a really, really important idea you have to get right.
All right, lean in for this one, because this is critical. A change in quantity demanded is just a movement along the curve we've already drawn. It's caused only by the price of that item changing. But a change in demand is totally different. That's when the entire curve shifts to the left or the right, and it's caused by something other than the price. Let's see what that looks like.
So first up, a movement along the curve. Let's say the price of a product goes up. Well, we just slide from point B up to point A on the same curve. We're buying less simply because it costs more. That's a contraction of demand. We're still on the same path, just at a different spot. Now for the shift. Imagine you get a nice raise at work. The price of the product is exactly the same, but now you have more money. All of a sudden, you're willing to buy more of it at every price level. The entire curve physically shifts to the right. That's an increase in demand. It's a whole new ball game.
So what are these mysterious other factors that can shift the whole curve? Well, the first big one is pretty obvious. Your income. For most things, what economists call normal goods, when our income goes up, we demand more of them. The whole curve shifts right.
The second major shifter is the price of other stuff. The demand for one product doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It's connected to the prices of related goods, and these come in two main flavors. First, you've got substitutes, things you use instead of each other. Think coffee and tea. If the price of coffee goes through the roof, a lot of people are going to start drinking more tea. Then you have complements, things that are used together, like cars and gasoline. If gas gets crazy expensive, people might think twice about buying a big SUV. And finally, the wild card, our tastes and preferences. This is the human element. Think about it, a new fashion trend, a viral TikTok video, a health craze. Any of these can completely change what we want, shifting the demand curve almost overnight.
So we've got this super powerful law of demand. We know what shifts it. But you know what they say about rules, right? They're made to be broken. And this one has some fascinating exceptions. Okay, so we've been saying this whole time, price goes up, demand goes down. But is that always true? Can you think of any time when a higher price tag might actually make people want something more?
It sounds totally backwards, but yeah, it happens. There are some rare historical examples like Giffen goods, but the one we all see is prestige goods. We're talking luxury cars, designer watches, high-end fashion. For these items, the high price is part of the appeal. It signals status. If that luxury brand suddenly had a 50% off sale, it might actually lose its allure, and demand could drop.
So there it is, the elementary theory of demand. It's way more than just a graph in a book. It's a new way of seeing the world. From the sales at the grocery store to the way airlines price their tickets, these rules are always at play. The real question is, now that you know the rules of the game, how will you see the world differently tomorrow?